In this video, you'll discover which Brookfield stocks should you own and which one should you absolutely avoid. If you don't know what Brookfield is, it is currently one of the world's largest alternative investment management firm with over $800 billion of assets under management in 2022. It basically focuses in direct control investment in many different fields such as the real estate, the renewable power, the infrastructure, and the credit and private equity. Which means that except for the credit branch, all of these subsidiaries of Brookfield can be found on the stock market, which means that on your side, you can buy them individually. But if you want to buy the whole package, you could simply buy the Brookfield Asset Management stock with the ticker BAM. Indeed, this ticker is basically an all-in-one where you buy the full companies that includes over 2,000 different employees in 30 different countries all around the world. And on your side, by buying this particular stock, you could expect to receive a great 2.5% of quarterly dividends from it. This firm is actually one of the few options that you have on your side to buy different alternative investment on the stock market, because this is an asset class that is virtually impossible to find on the stock market except if you go through different investment vehicles such as the ETFs and the mutual funds. Alternative assets are basically investment that cannot be categorized as a stocks, a bonds, or a certificate. It obviously includes investments such as real property, commodities, private equity, hedge funds, and tangible assets. Through time, BAM has been able to become a master in different complex projects that require a massive amount of money. For example, hydroelectricity plants, wind or solar farms, toll roads, bridges, pipelines, railroads, data centers, healthcare facilities, and massive office buildings. As an investor, this can be a very interesting pick that you can have in your portfolio to have a great diversification in it, because in fact, the return that you will receive from this particular company will be decorrelated from the market, meaning that you won't be depending on the stock market performance. Plus, as a retail investor, it can be hard for you to buy a certain part of a railroad or even a pipeline, and it's where BAM enters in the game. But now, let's take a look at what are the Brookfield branches that you have access as an investor. And at the end of the video, I'll share with you which ones are my favorite and which one would I never invest in. Starting with the Brookfield Property Partner branch with the ticker BPY. This subsidiary is basically a global real estate company that owns, operates, and manages multiple real estate properties in the most interesting markets in the world. You can find many asset classes within their own real estate portfolio, from the retail to the office to the multifamily and into the industrial real estate. And if you remember well my video on what are the best real estate investment trust companies to invest in 2023, well, you can understand that this kind of subsidiary is basically the same as a REIT. On their side, they manage over 800 properties that covers over 300 million square feet. And as you can see, most of these properties are located in North America, but there are still a certain part of them that are located in every different continents in the world except Antarctica. And what is really interesting about the real estate sector itself is that it is a great edge against the inflation to protect yourself against a future high inflation. And on your side, by investing in that particular stock, you can expect to receive a massive dividend of about 8%. Now for the second branch of Brookfield, it is basically the Brookfield Infrastructure Partner with the ticker BIP. This part of the business is basically one of the world's largest owner and operator of different infrastructure network, which will come store and move energy, water, data, and even passengers. So it is a company that mainly invests in transmission and telecommunication lines, toll roads, ports, and pipelines. On your side, instead of buying individual stocks such as TELUS, Bell, or even the CN, you could decide to buy an all-in-one with this ticker. Plus, at the moment, this company is giving a great 4% of dividend to their shareholders, and it has been growing pretty fast over the last couple of years. In fact, now it has slightly over 16,000 kilometers of gas pipelines, 32,000 kilometers of rail operations, 15,000 kilometers of transmission pipelines, and over 162,000 telecommunication towers. On your side, by investing in that particular branch, you could expect to receive the best of both worlds. Low maintenance investment with predictable risk and with some great consistent returns on the long term. Now for the next branch of Brookfield, it is the Brookfield Renewable Partner with the ticker BEP. This subsidiary has the particularity to only focus in renewable energy. Indeed, with its hydroelectricity, wind, solar, and storage facilities in North America, South America, Europe, and Asia, investors have access to a wide portfolio of tomorrow's energy. And at the moment, you could expect to receive a great 4.5% of quarterly dividend from this stock, which should be able to increase in the future with the exponential growth that is predicted in that sector. And recently, we've seen that they are trying to expand the scope of their operations, notably with their recent acquisition of the Australian energy company Origin. In fact, their diversified portfolio is currently able to generate over 8,100 megawatts of hydroelectricity, 5,900 megawatts of wind turbines, 3,400 megawatts from solar panels, and over 6,200 megawatts from other renewable solutions. And with about $68 billion of assets under management, this branch of the business is aimed to see a massive growth over the next couple of decades. And finally, for the last subsidiary, it is the Brookfield Business Partners with the ticker BBU. This branch is a global business services and industrial company which is operating and managing high quality companies that are proposing different essential products and services. Their operations are well diversified from the industrials to the infrastructure and business services. So their business model can be very interesting for investors that are looking to invest in private equity, which is basically a way for you to invest in companies that are not available on the stock market. Obviously, those kind of companies that are not necessarily well known by the big public have a lot of potential of growth, but at the same time, they also have a lot of risk that comes with it. And to evaluate the risk of this branch, for example, we can use the beta, and you can see that the beta is even higher than 1, meaning that the stock is more volatile than the overall market. Plus, on their side, this Brookfield branch is the one that is offering the lowest dividend to their shareholders, that is less than 1%. And among the list of all the subsidiaries of Brookfield that I've just presented to you, this would be the one that I would absolutely avoid. But talking about that, for my personal approach, if I had to choose different Brookfield stock, I would obviously invest in BAM as my first option because it is basically an all-in-one, because you can simply have all of these subsidiaries in only one ticker. But if I had to choose different subsidiaries, I would go with the Brookfield Infrastructure and Renewable partners. For the property partners, I personally believe that there are already many different kind of great REITs on the market at the moment, and I would obviously personally prioritize REITs such as Raucan, Smart Center, or even Prologis as my first choice. And as I just told you, the business partner branch isn't really interesting for me, at least personally at the moment, because over the last couple of years, we've seen that the risk-reward ratio wasn't really good for the investors. On the upper end, however, I think that the infrastructure partner program is super interesting for investors that are looking to have an all-in-one for the different infrastructure such as a railroad or even a pipeline. It can be obviously a great alternative for you instead of buying telecommunication companies, for example, such as Bell and Telus, or even companies such as the CN. And with the renewable energy turn that we're about to see over the next couple of decades, I personally believe that the renewable branch of Brookfield is super interesting for investors that are looking for great alternatives to other companies such as AQN. But now you might be wondering, hey, but Louis, what are the best Canadian dividend stocks that I can buy right now? Well, to find the answer to that question, check out the video that's gonna be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace!